Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, let me show you how I set up my Kalkwasser dosing in my reef tank. One of the biggest drawbacks with Kalkwasser is that you need to inject a lot of saturated solution to get any kind of increase in alkalinity or the calcium. Sometimes the amount of saturated Kalkwasser solution that you need to dose in your reef tank would be so high that it surpasses the evaporation rate of your tank. So in my case, the evaporation rate of my tank depends upon the season and it varies from 2 liters to 3 liters a day. Right now, I'm injecting around 2 liters of saturated Kalkwasser solution into my tank each day. And the issue I'm having right now is that I cannot hold that quantity of water beside my reef tank in the living room. The most common methods to dose saturated Kalkwasser solution into our tanks is either by using a specific reactor or by mixing it with the top of water. And as the evaporation rate of my tank depends upon the season, I don't really like to put the Kalkwasser through the top of the system. So this was a perfect opportunity for me to do some DIY stuff. So let me show you what I did. I actually have my RODI water in the basement and I pump it up to my reef tank using a 12-volt pump. As you can see here, I have the water tubing and the wire from my auto top off system going through to the basement. So the challenge I have here is that I just have one tubing and I need to pass the RODI water and the Kalkwasser solution through the same tubing into my reef tank. I'll show you with a quick sketch how I designed the system, and then let's go to the basement and I'll show you the installation. So to start off, let's say I have my aquarium here with the level of water, and with evaporation the level of the water reduces in the sump of my aquarium, and I have the auto top off controller in my sump, and whenever the level of water reduces it sends a signal to the pump which is in the basement in a bucket of RODI water, and this pump pumps out with the water tubing back into the sump. So this is the first circuit I have, and in the same bucket, or let me make it a bit bigger, I have a second pump which is exactly similar to the first pump, which is connected to my power supply with a 12-volt adapter on a timer, so it just switches on 1 minute per hour for the whole night. So this pump pumps out the water which goes into a mixing station. I call it a mixing station, which has an inlet on the bottom of the bottle, and there is an outlet on the top, and it has a sealed cap. This water is sent to the same tubing over here, and this bottle I actually bought the Tunes. Tunes makes this kind of bottles, and the advantage of this is that I just add Kalkwasser directly inside once a week, around 4 tablespoons of it, and it just settles down, and whenever the water is pumped in there is a natural stirring which happens inside, and the saturated solution is sent with the same tubing which I already have for the auto top off system. I used the Tunes bottle here because I already had one, but it's really easy to make one for yourself. There are a few details that I need to explain in this junction over here, so let me zoom that zone. I'm using a T coupler, I don't know what you call it, the T connectors, and there is one inlet over here, the other over here, and outlet is over here, which goes to my tank. The first inlet is connected to the auto top of pump. So let's say the pump is over here, and what I did is I put a one-way valve over here and a second one, so I have two in series. And on the other side I have this mixer which sends the water directly into this key connector, and behind this bottle, this mixing bottle here, I have two check valves before the pump over here. I'm not quite sure if this was it is easier to understand, but the reason why I'm putting two one-way valves is that it's a technique we use in engineering. By doing such configurations, you share the pressure which is going through these two check valves. So it's not really for a security reason, it's just to reduce the pressure load on the check valves. There is one thing to keep in mind when you're using one-way valve like this over here. The thing is, the water which is going through this check valve has to be the RODI water. You cannot send saturated Kalkwasser through these valves because you are going to destroy it. So with this configuration, as I'm putting these check valves before the mixing happens, there is only RO water which is going through this, and the same thing over here. I'm not using any fancy animations, or I could have done that, but I think this is how good ideas are shared by sketching, so I thought I should use the same method. So with this technique, I have actually solved the problem of my tubing over here. With a single tubing, I can send Kalkwasser solution and the auto top of water. So that really solves my problem, I guess. So I'm using check valves like this one. These are cheap check valves. You have an arrow over here which shows the direction in which the water can flow, and it cannot flow in the opposite direction. Just you need to be careful when you're using such kind of check valves, because sometimes the interface, the junction between these two plastic pieces can be faulty, and if you just blow air on the opposite direction, you can just check if it is sealed between these two plastic parts. If it is not sealed, you can just glue these two plastics together and it should work fine. So let's go to the basement and I'll show you how I did the installation. This is the bucket where I hold the RODI water in the basement. As I said before, there are two pumps. One is for the top of system and the second one is for the Kalkwasser. And this is the bottle which I use to mix up the Kalkwasser. There is the inlet on the bottom of the bottle and the outlet is on the top. This is the T connector which I use. The water from the auto top of system comes from the left. The Kalkwasser solution comes from the right, and the outlet is on the top, which goes upstairs to my reef tank. I just turned on the pump to show you how the stirring happens in the mixing bottle. So as you can see, the Kalkwasser is stirred up when water is pushed on the bottom of the bottle, and the saturated solution goes from the top of the bottle to the tank. So that's it guys for this video. I hope you liked the video and you could get some value out of it. So if you have any questions, do let me know, and until next time, see you. Happy reefing. Bye bye. If you want to check out my other videos, do click the button over here or this one. Thank you. And I can wait. Yeah, go on, go on, click on it. Yeah, come on, come on. Yeah. See you. Bye bye.